After the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie panel at New York Comic Con 2018, we had the opportunity to interview most of the Funimation English dub cast about their insights on the movie and their characters in general. In this video, we'll break down our interview with Ian Sinclair, the English voice actor for Whis. Note that at the time of this interview, none of the voice actors aside from the English voice actor for Vegeta, Chris Sabat, knew about the movie plot, and they had only recorded lines for the initial trailer. While we won't have the interview audio for this video series, our friends at Frederator and Get in the Robot kindly provided us with their audio so we could summarize and quote everything the best that we can. Subscribe to Get on the Robot if you want to hear the audio version of the interviews when they release it, or if they have it already released. Now let's talk about the actual interview. One of the first things that Ian Sinclair mentioned when he sat with us was that he was excited to meet Masako Nozawa at the NYCC panel. As much as we would have liked to interview her, she and her translator unfortunately did not attend the press conference. When asked about the possibility of potential Whis fights in the future, Ian said that he hopes to see that happen, but he had only recorded a single line for the Comic-Con trailer. He joked about the reason he'd been left in the dark in terms of the plot, and he thinks it's because he's, quote, the Tom Hiddleston of the cast and they're afraid of him saying things. Ian called Chris his best friend, and Chris still only said things like, quote, "There's stuff in the movie, it's good," end quote. All he knew at the time was that Beerus and Whis are in the movie because of the trailer and because he had seen a Japanese magazine page with the two characters featured in it. However, when Ian saw the trailer, his reaction was, quote, "Holy crap, this new origin story is amazing, that's so cool," end quote. When asked about how he felt when he was cast into the movie, Ian said, quote, "A giant yeah," end quote. He didn't know whether or not Whis could actually even make it into the show after Resurrection F. He thought Whis was a, quote, "fun little one-off. I used to, funny enough, say he's like Broly, like only gonna be in the movies," end quote. When asked about his day-to-day and when he'll find out about having more lines in the movie, Ian said that he doesn't know. He speculated that he could go home for the night, get a call from his agent, and be told that he's gonna be needed for the next day. He says he would go in and do his hours, which are never more than the amount of time he's needed that day. He also said, quote, "Fortunately as Whis, I don't scream, ever. Everybody who's in Dragon Ball, they have to call up the agents and be like, hey man, I'm doing Dragon Ball tomorrow. I cannot. Like, day after tomorrow, man, if you book me now, my voice is gonna be nothing," end quote. When people mention a Dragon Ball session, he can actually do more work after because his voice is only the high part of his voice, which is much easier on him. He guessed that he may get a day or two of voice work on the movie, but hopes for around 5. Ian ultimately believes that it'll be 2 days because, quote, "it's about Goku, Broly, and Vegeta," end quote. When asked about Whis possibly training Goku and Vegeta more in the future, Ian said, quote, "My thought is that they will train them again and Goku and Vegeta are going to get even stronger, and then at some point, Vegeta's going to find out that Frieza was told to destroy planet Vegeta by Beerus. He's going to find out that it's all Beerus' fault that he doesn't have a planet anymore," end quote. Ian mentioned how much Vegeta loves to call himself the Prince of all Saiyans, but he doesn't even get to be the king because of the things that Beerus allowed to happen. He says, quote, "When he finds that out, it's gonna be nuts, because if my Bulma Vegeta pre-Whis training could put Beerus on the ropes, you took my royalty from me, Vegeta is gonna lose it," end quote. When we asked about his biggest expectations for the movie, he jokingly answers that he expects the basic plot of Goku and Vegeta fight Broly, struggle, then win at the end. Vegeta will come close and it's not gonna go well for him, then Goku comes and wins. Ian says, quote, "This is what happens in Dragon Ball," end quote. When asked about how he would feel about Whis being featured in Fighters since he was already in Xenoverse and only just ever alongside Beerus, Ian said, quote, "I'm deeply appreciative that you asked that because I think about that all the time. You know how depressing it is to start up the best fighting game ever and you're so super proud of it and you can see yourself land on a planet and you're like, that's me! And then your cat walks out behind you and yawns and gets to fight? I would kill for Whis to be a part of it, but kinda like in Xenoverse, he's a little OP. Someone pointed out to me, do you really want to see Yamcha beating Whis? Should that ever happen? It could work, I would kill for it, man," end quote. Ian makes an open request to add Whis to the game and even promising, quote, "I will play that game at any tournament you want. I play that game all the time. I've brought over Funimation actors and challenged them using my feet with my fight stick. I'm that guy, and I won too," end quote. When the Chris vs. Sean Fighters tournament match was brought up, Ian said, quote, "Chris looked like he was trained by someone, didn't he? I wonder who did that. He was trained by a few people, I'll just say that. When he's at home, he's like, hey man, do you play? And I'm like, yeah, I know how you can beat Sean. Let's talk. I was ready for Goku to reach out to me to learn how to do it, but Vegeta got to me first. It was like the most meta moment in the world. I was like, I'm Whis teaching Vegeta how to fight Goku, end quote. We asked Ian if he thinks any particular characters in the Dragon Ball universe could fight Whis and beat him. He suggested possibly the Grand Priest and Zeno since, quote, he's got the Thanos thing, end quote. He would also love to see Broly fight Whis and have Whis chuckle during the fight. According to Ian, Whis just views Saiyan as, quote, angry, glowing little monkey boys that like to slap fight and throw their energy poo at each other. It's just so entertaining. That's why he's always smiling and giggling, end quote. Regarding Jiren, he said, quote, Jiren versus Whis would be fun, but I still think Whis would stomp him, end quote. We asked the final question, which involved Ultra Instinct. His response was, quote, see, I've heard theories. What color is Goku's hair when he goes Ultra Instinct? End quote. Could he have been suggesting that the angels are in a permanent state of Ultra Instinct? We ran out of time with him before we could expand on the discussion, but we hope that this interview was interesting and insightful for you. The next video will break down our interview of Sean Schemmel, the English voice actor for Goku. If you want to stay notified when these interviews come out, subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay up to date. And remember that if you want to hear the full audio version, subscribe to Get in the Robot and watch it on their channel. See you next time.